Good morning and welcome to Satisfactory, my factory workers, to this very special Valentine's Day episode of The Morning Coffee. I'm going to go ahead and grab a sip. I made you a little Valentine. Look at that. Special factory edition Valentine for you. Why is it special? Well, let's get a coffee and I'm going to talk about it a little bit. Get a fresh cup. There we go. Yeah, that's great. All right, while we're getting our coffee, we're gonna be we're gonna be playing in two different saves today. Because you see that last item on our agenda to the right? Well, let's take a look at what we have in our inventory. Look, we're about to go 100% in the game by buying the golden nut, the elusive golden nut. 2% of players have achieved this, according to Steam. And we are about to be one of the 2%ers. Because we are buying the golden nut. Here we go. And purchased. There it is. 100%.
Congratulations, you are now a contributor to a popular pioneer trend. In earlier testing phases of the Save the Day program, pioneers could not get enough of these nuts, to the point of featuring nuts in every single picture they took. This obsession eventually became unhealthy and pioneers were taught the skill of restraint and not holding anything in their hands. Still, to honor the love humanity had for these nuts, a statue was commissioned, so we can honor the impact these nuts had on pioneers across the universe.
Okay, that's funny. It's all about these nuts. Alright, let's, I want to hold this. Gotta hold it, gotta raise it high. There we go. Ta-da! We have these nuts in our hand. Oh, look at these nuts. Da, 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 da. I want to thank the Academy and all the little people that made this possible, and especially the Space Cow Tick. Where are you? I know you're here somewhere. I just saw you. And the giant ray in the sky. He's always been friendly to me, even though the haters out there trying to eat me. I made it. Thank you very much. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And to mom and dad. Alright, that's great. Can I put this somewhere? Can I like set it down on my desk or something? Let's see. Let's put it right here under the lamp. Can we do that? Whoa. No, 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 no. It's huge. It's huge. Oh, this has to go. Let's put it in the middle of our Valentine. That'd be perfect. That way we'll always remember what day it is. It is 100% day. Da, 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 da. What's at the center of your heart? These nuts. Yeah. It's cool. That's cool. Yeah, that's cool. Alright. Awesome. Alright, that's all we had to do in the save. Let's clear out our final task item out of our list in here. There's nothing left to do in the save. We've done it all. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Alright. Wow, that feels really satisfying. I I found that very satisfactory. Okay, let's switch. Let's load up our other save that we've been working on. And I have a grand plan for this one. I have been working very hard on planning for this. And what kind of planning have I been doing? I have been doing city planning for this. what I want to do is I want to go around and create cities in different parts of the map that are basically logistic centers for making different things. And I have been working very hard with AI in order to new save, new cup of coffee. I've been working very hard to figure out, um, and you see it on the list, was the city planning. I've done the city planning. I know where we're going to put cities, and um, really, I'm going to start building some of this out because we're going to move. We're going to move our whole base. We are going to move everything. This whole thing is around here is getting wiped out. We're going to do a brand new rail system. It's basically going to be practically a new save. Um, all this warehousing, we're going to move to a different one. And this is all going to be based on um, what myself and the AI are calling the SIP, the SIP, 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 like that. In the SIP is the standard input parts. And so these are the parts that we're going to use as the basis for what we're going to ship around by train. Anything, and these are going to be the most important parts that most parts um, utilize. And we'll have different trains based on the city that they're going to. Let me see. I need to pull up my notes real quick for this because there's a lot here. So what we're going to end up doing is having, well, where is my cities list? I had it here. So we have Foundation City. So that's going to be the city where all of our foundation parts are, and there's a list of parts that will be made there. Steel City is pretty obvious. Electronic City is going to be the electronical parts. Advanced Materials City, um, and we're not going to name them this. We're going to come up with fun names for this because this saves it all about the fun names. Nothing is going to be like um, generic, right? This, uh, we'll have like for like we have an advanced materials city, consumables city, you know, um, and we'll probably call that Eaton. Something fun like that. Like what's a consumable? Something you eat, right? So, um, project assembly inbound. This is going to be our space elevator area, and we're going to make this very kind of large footprint for that. We're gonna space that one out a little bit. In Alien Tech City, and maybe what we'll do is we'll throw some design elements into these different cities to make them kind of look and feel like what they are. So maybe we'll explore a little bit of design instead of just orange boxes, because we've already beat the game. We already did the finishing phase 5, getting left behind. We know all that's going on. What we're really after is more of a good plan, something that's logistically sound, looks nice, plays nice, and isn't uh, isn't this mess, right? Isn't isn't this rail mess that we've got out there? Oh, look at that nastiness, right? It's just it's just bleh, a scar on the face of the planet. Um, make something beautiful that takes advantage of the planet. In a way that looks like it's supposed to be there, not just willy-nilly placed wherever. Um, we also will have a fuel power city, and then there's maybe some other things. We'll also have a warehouse district as well. Um, so let me see. Let me go back further in my notes. That was warehouse cities where we're going to start building. We're gonna use that as our um, that's kind of our center because everything's going to have to come in and out of here. And that was so I've got a couple. So Foundation City will have concrete, iron plates, iron rods, screws, and reinforced plates. So those will be the things that we build in Foundation City. So all those basic tier one parts um, for that. Let's see. Cities player base will be by the warehouse. So that's going to be where we move. We're going to put that out in the grass fields, which is an area on the map that we really haven't done a lot in. If we look at our map, that's going to be down here, and we have a little bit of build out here. Like you can see, I've got some trains coming in and out of here, and I'm using a few of the nodes. But overall, we're not doing anything here, and we're going to put our warehouse city in this area here. It's going to be a bit of a bigger, a decent build. It's not going to be too bad. So we're looking at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 cities across the map. In the Rocky Desert, out here, you know what we can do? Let's do this. Let us turn off our truck stations, our train stations. Let's turn off our vehicles, our trains, and let's turn off, we want to keep our map markers. Let's turn off our drain ports, our radar towers, and our resources. That'll probably, I think all that's left is our drones. Other space elevator and hub, we can keep those on there. We'll keep the player on there, and then we can turn off our drones. Okay, so now we have basically our empty map and a couple interesting points. Oh, this one can get removed. Okay, so if we were to put our cities up, if we do a new map marker, so in the Rocky Desert out here, this is going to be where we put Foundation City, which we'll have to come up with a name for when we build it out. Actually, let's go ahead and think of a name now. So foundations, these, what would we say? Iron rods. This is mainly iron parts. Iron Mountain. Iron Mountain is actually a city here in Michigan where I live. Let's see. Symbol is FE. We could call it. I don't want to name it all Michigan cities because that's too easy. Uh, what about? Well, it's metal. Uh, rods, and plates, and screws. Rods, plates, and screws. It's kind of like hardware. Uh, hmm. Anybody's got a name? Go ahead and throw one into chat. I'm looking for something fun here. Let's see. What would be fun? Um. Hmm. I'm gonna move my chat window. Let me see if I can get my chat window to move. There we go. We're gonna go ahead and put that over here, I think. Kind of over by our project list. Well, let's see. Hmm. Skittles has a lot to say this morning. Foundation City. We could just tier 1 start base. I'm struggling for a cute name for this one. Okay, for now, let's just go with Iron Mountain. Just because I don't want to belabor this too much. Okay, so we have Iron Mountain as our first city. Our next city is going to be in the Dune Desert Plateau area, which is actually up here. And you can see we have not been out there much at all. But we're going to be in this area where there's a bunch of nodes there. And this is going to be frameworks. So all of our uh, modular frames, heavy module frames, and fused frames, and uh, and that stuff. So I believe that's what's in Framework City. I want to make sure. Framework City, modular, heavy, and fused frames. Yes, and that's going to be out here in the Dune Desert. So something. Um, all those things look like a cube. So we can call this Rubiksville. Sure. Might want to. We can always change these names later. These are just working titles. Then our next city, the Project Assembly. Project Assembly, I think it's saying out here in the Dune Desert. I don't think I want it there. I think I want it somewhere a little bit more. I think I want it somewhere else. Because we're talking about making that kind of in a dramatic area or somewhere that, is out of the way. Because we're shipping everything in. We don't need any local resources. I kind of want to build it out over the water, and I kind of want to do it somewhere where I've never built before. I'm kind of thinking this northern ocean area. Maybe out of off the swamp? Because I've never really run like rail out here or anything like that. Um, so tentatively, I think we're gonna put our elevator here. And I think we'll call this Tomorrowland. As in, because it's gonna look very futuristic. Um, then we have advanced materials, and the advanced materials city, and advanced materials is going to be, let's see, advanced materials, what do we have going on in advanced materials? Ba 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 ba. Let's see. Advanced materials. Is that circuits? It's going to be something like that. No, that would be electronics. What? Oh yeah, we're going to have. There's a couple other cities that I don't think that it dropped from the list that we need to find locations for too. Forgot about power. Well, we got to have a couple different power cities as well. Fuel City will be one of them. Have a nuclear city too. Had plans for that somewhere in here. But yeah, okay. Yeah, so that's the 11th city. It's nuclear power city, fuel and augmented power city, which I think is the same as our fuel city. Foundation city, steel city, electronics, frameworks, advanced materials, alien, project assembly, global warehouse, and consumables. Yep. Optionally, we can do a recycling or a sandbox R&D city as well, but I think we'll just use kind of our hub um, location for that, which will be next to the warehouse. Let's see what. Oh, this is what each city has in it. So advanced materials. Advanced materials. So we're looking at aluminum products, CUs, which are radio control units, heat sinks, and turbo motors are coming out of the advanced materials city. So let's see. We are. What would be like a high tech city name? Let's see. Hmm. Hmm. High tech city name. And this, oh, and our location for this one was the Blue Crater, which is down. Blue Crater is way down on the south shore. So down here, there it is right there. That's the Blue Crater right there. So I'm going to pop in a marker here. And I'm just going to, we're gonna rename these as we build them, I think. So advanced, what do I call it? Advanced materials. Yes, advanced materials. Okay. And let's go ahead and Rubiksville. I don't like Rubiksville. We'll just call this is still our frameworks. Frameworks city. And then Tomorrowland. I'm okay with Tomorrowland. And then Iron Mountain. We're just gonna keep calling this Foundation City right now. Let's just stick with the AI names for right now. Project Assembly. City. Okay. So that's 4. Huh. Got 7 more to go. This will speed up now that I'm not trying to rename them. So I probably have like 50 pages of notes on the city plan because, you know, AI tends to talk a lot. Let's see. My city list. What I should have done is pulled out. I need to pull out the base plan information and then the details on each area and kind of pull them out into a document. Okay. Foundation says Steel City is really? That's also out here. All right, so we've got 2 cities in here. I know that, so let's see, can I move this? No, but we can remove it. Okay, we're gonna add a new marker. Let's put Foundation City like here. And these are just rough markers. Once we get into building things out, we'll kind of figure out where they all go. And then out here, we're gonna have Steel City, or we could do Steel City here. Either side of this works for steel because there's several coal nodes here, and there's several coal nodes here. I've done steel here so many times, though I want to try doing it out here instead, just because it's another good location. Frameworks we have out in the Dune Desert, Electronic City. We can do in the grass fields or Blue Crater Edge. Advanced materials we can do Blue Crater or Titan Forest. This is not the list I was working off before. Where did I lock that in at? Oh, this was the list here. I was doing Steel City, Rocky Desert, yep. Dune, Desert Plateau for Framework City, Project Assembly. It said Dune Desert, but I like where we put it instead. That's one we can put anywhere because everything's getting shipped into that one. Blue Crater for Advanced Materials, Electronic City, Grass, or Blue Crater Edge. So our grass field area is here. Our grass field pretty much runs from this area here all the way back here. It's a very large area. We do have the snake tree forest that is kind of this off-colored area right here. So grass fields kind of sit between that, and then we have the southern forest that runs. Um, it's right in here. It's where all the purple trees are in here, which is kind of like this lake area ish. Um, Actually, it's showing. Wait a minute. This isn't the blue crater. This is the blue crater out here, isn't it? Because it comes back around. We haven't been out there. This is blue crater. Okay, hang on. Let's see. Um, I understand now why it said this area, and we'll talk about this because we've been playing in we've used this area, and we haven't used the blue crater area. I've done that in a different save. Actually, well, it wasn't the save. It's my creative save. This is advanced materials city, and then we want I yeah, kind of this area here. We're going to make our this is electronic city, and the reason is that on the map there are some quartz nodes right in this valley, along right around this water area here. We have some quartz stuff. There's also some really good nodes up here. We may even want to move. Actually, I'm wondering maybe I will put it in between here and here because there's a deuterium node here. Iron, copper, quartz, all right in this area. But we don't need to be real close to raw resources. But it does help. Because we're not going to be shipping ores around. So we'll see. This city may move location. Actually, let's go ahead and move it now. Let's just move that right up in here, in between the quartz nodes that are here and our deuterium and copper stuff there. So this is Electronic City. Great. And then Warehouse City, we want this great big area down here. And I've already have something similar to that down here, so that's going to work out great. Actually, we want to be a little bit closer to center. In if we think about center of map, this area we shaved this area off because this is a remote area that's not really used. If we think about the areas used, we've got cities out here, we've got cities out here, we've got cities down here. Central to all those cities is really going to be this area here. If we put our warehouse here, we're pretty close to center. The other option would be in here, but this is a really tough area to build in, and find flat area because there's a lot of trees. There's a bit of up and down. and not a bunch of flat area. If like I really zoom in, you can see all of the elevation changes in here that are going up and down in there. And not to mention, it's a really dangerous place to try and build. There are some like aluminum nodes and stuff like that in here, and some good resources, um, but not great. The other advantage of building it in this area is that this tunnel actually runs like up through here and is a good kind of central access way in and out of here, and gets us to the other areas that are important. We're not going to have many cities out here. I think we're going to do our nuclear city here on the waterfall, because this is a good area for that. And then other than that, we're looking at grass fields, Desert Canyons, Titan Forest area. So we're going to have our alien city in here, probably in this area here. Fuel City, Blue Crater is we're going to do that on the West Beach out here. And then Consumables City, we can do pretty much anywhere. That I think we're going to do that down here, or maybe even up here, because we don't need much space, and we can kind of throw that in. I'm going to look at that one a little bit more to see, because we're going to be wanting to be near oil for that. Uh, because we need to make fabric for filters, and um, also coal. So oil, coal, we'll have to look at that one in more detail. I think for now, I'm thinking we're gonna do warehouse right over the crater here. This is gonna be kind of a busy area city-wise. Maybe we come out. This area really isn't central, and I really wanted to keep it central, but we're gonna do somewhere around here. And we're gonna have to figure this one out because this is gonna be the first city we build. But this is where it's recommending um, for warehouse city. Alien tech. Um, I'd like to use the Desert Canyons area, which is here. This is the Desert Canyons area. It gave me a couple options. I like this area here. I like building here. There's a little bit of oil and stuff here as well. Not that we need oil for the alien tech, but so this is alien tech city, and we're almost done. We've got fuel city, and fuel city is going to be over here on these islands. This is by far the best place to do this. I have not found another spot on the map that is as good as that for doing that. The only problem is that coal and sulfur are not close by for our higher end stuff. But I did run them from kind of over here on a long belt to do that, but maybe we'll do something different with that. And then consumable cities. So this is going to be like filters, ammo, nobelisks. So we want to build out a couple different things. You know what I'm going to do? I think, now that I think about that, based on our SIP inputs, I think I want to put that up here. I think I want to put the in this area right here. Yeah. It doesn't it doesn't have, I mean, we're not shipping any of the stuff. Uh we may want to change it to where it's closer by, but we're just going to dump this stuff into a dimensional depot anyways. So that we can grab more of them wherever we're at. We're not going to go back to this city unless there's an issue. And that's a good spot. We've got sulfur, um, we've got sulfur, coal, oil all right here available for those consumables. I think that works out good. I think we'll be able to do whatever, and anything else that we need, we can train in. So that will be great. Then the last and final city is our nuclear power city, which is going to be here. And this is going to be Nuke Power City. Boom. And so that'll be a huge everything just for producing nuclear power is going to be there. And kind of like we had in the last save, we had that up on this plateau here. Oops, this is in the wrong spot. Sorry. I had the wrong part of the map. This is the Desert Canyons area here. This more open location here. So right there. This is Alien Tech City. Great. Great, great, great. Okay. That's our city plan. That's our city layout. And like I said, we're going to start with Warehouse City. Um, Actually, it may not have to be that big. But I have kind of the detailed layout of what that needs to look like. Um, and we're going to start with the Grand Rail Yard. And our layout, so the notes on this are um, mm, 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 mm. No manufacturers here, only buffers, sorting, and redistribution. We're going to have dual conveyor splines going in and out. And this will act as our rideable highway. And these are going to be our Mark 6 belts. And we'll be able to surf the top of those to move back and forth in the city. So it gives us a little bit faster moving back and forth. We're going to have a routing floor as the brain of the warehouse that's going to get things to the stations that they need to go, and also, to fill in our storage. Um, our player hub will be here. It'll be central but isolated. We don't want any belts going through it. We'll have direct access to depots, buffers, and our parts trains. Uh, and we'll have fast vertical access to all floors, but there's not going to be any floors. Add buffers and north-south. Add splinter merger floor. No rail changes. No spline rebuilds. We'll have one item per buffer. Our overflow will be safe routed to a sink. Trains never mix with belts. Warehouse feeds PA directly. I don't remember what PA was. Consumables handled separately. Consumables are going to be somewhere else. So, walking through the layout, we're going to have the Grand Rail Yard, which is going to have all the input trains, and those are going to feed into an input logistics spline, which will be a stacked belt of, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And then we don't need a surf lane on that. So there'll be a 7-item spline that we use as our input. And then we're going to bulk buffer. So we'll have our different buffers. And then we'll have our smart routing floor. So we'll have a 2-floor structure in the middle. We'll have our buffer floor. Well, it's calling it the districts. Sorry, we may spread this out into different districts in the city. So we'll have our buffer district, and then we'll have our smart routing floor That's going to set up all of our outputs to um, project, cities, depot, sync, and overflow. Um, and then we'll have a our player hub and operations core, which will have our hub, um, uh, a what is depot supposed to be? Oh, maybe it's some dimensional depot uploads there, but those are gonna go in the storage area. So I'm gonna override the AI on that one. We'll have our crafting area. We'll have our MAM. It had a cool thing to use some billboards as like the world map, so we're gonna do something with that, and then possibly a lift. But I think what we'll do is we'll have this will be kind of this will also be where we have some different hypertube cannons to send us around. Oh, project assembly is PA. So project assembly rail um, is our output, but that is not quite right. It kind of screwed up the plan a little bit because what we need to route out of here is our different rails. Let me see about this a little bit. Let me double check some of this. I guess I didn't look at the warehouse plan that closely, and it kind of messed it up a bit. Where is my different trains? Here, well, we're gonna have AI do this. What are my different? What are my city input trains? Or what are the input trains for each city? Those are the ones that we need to populate, including Nuclear City. This will give us what it's expecting to be the input to each um, what? Raw mining outpost. That's an output train. Oh, okay. So interesting. This is going against I don't know what. Huh. Oh. Are we only warehousing? Wait a minute. This has stuff coming from city to city, not centrally warehoused. Oh. Well, then what do we? Okay, so we're only using the warehouse for the project assembly bits because it's going to have adaptive control units, Modular engines, assembly, director systems, those are not input trains. Oh yeah, these are the input trains for that, for each one of the things. No outbound on that. I see. So we are doing warehouse is all input trains. Yeah, let's draw a rail network topology diagram. Draw a, because now I'm a little confused on what it's thinking. Because I thought I understood what we were doing here, but I think the AI went a different direction on me. And just for the record, I am using ChatGPT to have these conversations. Um, okay, so we have a uranium outpost with a single track and sightings to Nuclear City. Then we're going to have a dual line with heavy traffic from Nuclear City to Warehouse Hub, Advanced Materials, and Project Assembly Capital. That doesn't make sense. No. Uh. Oh, I see. That dual line. Sorry, we're gonna have a dual line between those cities, and those cities, and those cities, and those cities. Okay, I'm not quite sure. So it looks like we're gonna have mining outposts for certain cities, and then we're gonna train in those ores from the mining outposts. It's kind of funky. So where are we doing single line long travel? Almost nowhere. It's got, okay, it's got double track going anywhere. Clockwise freight, counterclockwise freight. Okay. Uh, so it's taking us out of. I had put in there for distance travel to do a single line, but it's saying nah, that doesn't make any sense. So we're going to be going with a dual. We'll have to we'll have to redo most of our train. Which makes sense because once you have this kind of city layout, it's going to branch spurs. I mean, we could do a push pull for resources that are only going from point A to point B, like little city spurs. So if you think about and this is what I think we'll probably do with the cities. So if we have like not the warehouse city, but electronic city, right? So let's zoom in on this area here. If we're looking at electronic city, we have all these nodes out here that we're going to mine. We've got nodes out here that we're going to mine. We can run a single rail. So we'll have it when we build our city. Like if we wanted to have a little bit more room to build, and we decided that you know what, we're gonna move this city down here, right out of the way, or maybe closer to the edge of the crater over here. Um, then we could have single rails running out to, and even where I have it situated here between these different pillars and stuff. This pillar might be like our city floor, and we'll just build it above this whole area because I've actually looked at this area a bit. I've done a lot of routing of trains because we ran a train on the server build through here, and we had a lot going on in this area, and we had stations here, and then this actually served as a really busy junction because our aluminum factory we did up here, and just at the edge of the forest here. Actually, Now, where did we end up going? In here, right between here, I think. Is that where we were at? I think so, because I think there's coal nodes right here. Or were we further up? Here. Oh, no, no, no. We were over here because we were almost to the swamp. And we're pulling water from here. So right in here is where we put our aluminum factory. Um, so we were pulling the aluminum from out here in the swamp with a long belt and belting that in here. We've got the coal. There's a SAM node right here, and then there's coal around in these areas here. So we're pulling coal up from here, and then water in from here, and that was our aluminum plant. And because we did that, we had this rail that was coming in through here, and everything ended up routing through this area. And then we ended up, when we extended our train line, um, we brought it up here, actually out here, and along the front of the waterfall, and out this way. So that became part of our main line. So now this area gets a lot of heavy traffic, and we had a roundabout here that goes out in here, and this is where we're doing a bunch of the industrial parts stuff, so stators and rotors and motors, ECRs, the electronic control rods, crystal oscillators, our regular rods, and all that stuff is being produced along here. So this is one way, and then our other main line comes this way, and then we had a couple stations in here as well, and this was just a mess of trying to squeeze in because it's a little tight to be putting stations in. So I was looking at possibly elevating things up here on this plateau to get it above. So that might be an option for us to build a city, an elevated city here, kind of between these 3 points. I think I think this one's a little bit taller. This is where I think this is taller than these three, but that could be a city feature, and we build kind of around it. If we're building a warehouse over here somewhere, um, oh, this area might not be bad for the warehouse, but we may move this warehouse up where it makes more sense to be. If we're warehousing the parts for the project assembly that we're putting up here, it may make more sense to put that warehouse out here in this flat area close by so that we're just running a short train out to the assembly city if we're only warehousing the parts needed for project assembly, and we're just going city to city um, for our parts. That was a very long explanation uh, for why we would do maybe just some mining single rails close by. But I'm just kind of verbally thinking. Okay, so maybe we don't start with, well, if our, hmm. Now I'm questioning whether we start with the warehouse city or not. How are we doing? How are we doing on getting to tier 5 here? Are we still? Ooh, yeah, yeah, yeah. Okay, that's still running. Ooh. Um, we're over halfway there on our last two parts. Are we still building these out? Are we still going? Are we only doing one of these at a time? Oh, well that's going to take a long time now, isn't it? We don't have a backup of parts. Well, these are 1 per minute, and these are 0.75. Let's juice this a little bit to be, oh, this is going to take 1.5 per minute. Let's juice this to 1.5 so that that doesn't go idle. Where is our juicy juicers? You're there. We're only gonna need one. What is that? One, just one. There we go, 1.5 per minute. That'll work. And then that would be what we would need to do to keep each assembler running nonstop. It's going to take a minute to get that rate up. But that should be well balanced. Once we start delivering at that pace. Okay. Now that it's going like that, we should not go idle on the next one. Let's see. So if we're at 0.75 per minute, that is less than, that's 1.5 per 2 minutes. And we have, we'll call it 200 to deliver. So if we have 200 divided by 0.2, no. 2 is going to be 100 minutes. No. Oh, hang on. I confused myself. If we're doing 0.75 per minute, and we want to know how many minutes. Oh, math. Oh, I need coffee for math. Oh my goodness. Alright. Let me work through this here. We have 200 parts times 0.75 parts per minute. Equals, and we want to find out X minutes. So so if we go 0.75 parts per minute, that's parts over minutes, and if we multiply that by X minutes, that would give us 200 parts. Okay, now I can balance that because the units all match now. Okay. Something I learned from chemistry was if you can cancel out your units, and so the way that works is if I have, this was the equation I just wrote down. So 0.75 parts. I use, we'll call, we'll just do parts, and then times the number of minutes. We'll use that for times X minutes. Oh, this is parts per minute. Sorry, parts per minute. And then this will equal 200 parts, because that's how many parts we need to make, right? If you look at the math on this, this is in, basically, if you think about this as a fraction of parts over minutes, this is in the denominator. This would be basically minutes over 1 as a fraction, and they cancel each other out, which leaves you with parts only. Right, so then we have parts equals parts, which is correct. And that's how you can set up these equations and know that you're right. Then from there, you can work the numbers. So if I have this, basically can be simplified then down into 0.75x parts equals 200 parts. And then from there, we say, okay, then we need to divide both sides by 0.75. So 0.75 divided by 0.75, and that cancels that out. That becomes 1, and then this also gets divided by 0.75, and we'll get our answer. So what ends up happening is that these cancel out to 1. So if we need X parts, then it would be 200 divided by 0.75. And if we simplify that down into the math part of this, it is going to take us 266 and 2/3 minutes to produce 200 parts. So that's quite a long time. That's over 4 hours. And we're not going to stream for that long. But if we change this to 190, which is how many we have left, we're still at 253. Not ideal. We wanna get that faster. If we half that, so that was 253, right? 253, which is just over 4 hours. 4 hours and 13 minutes. If we half that, so if we did this by 1.5, which would be 2, that gets us down to 2 hours. That's much better. But let's see how we're doing on nuclear pasta. How fast are we making this? We only need 40 of these, so, and we're doing half that. So this is going to be 80 minutes. So we're just over an hour here. That's not too bad, but we're also not producing enough copper powder to keep this running nonstop. So we're probably going to be over that, counting idle time. And I think we're okay with that. This is actually coming in at a decent enough rate that I think this is not going to be our problem. And in what we have to deliver is much less. So we could expand this out to 3 if we did. So what would that look like if we did that for 3? That'd be another 0.75, so 2.25. Be 84 minutes. That's just under an hour and a half. So that's a possibility. What if we were to... What would be the output if we juice this to 250? That's 1.875. What is that one? Look like 1.875. 100 minutes if we balance that. Okay. 1.875. That's really weird. That's like a 7/8. Okay. Oh, because we halved it. That means that how many of those do we need to produce? 3.75 per minute. 3.75, and we're at 1.5. 3.75 if we fully rack this up. We get 2.5. So we need one more of these. Let's do that. No. Oh, I'm missing parts. I don't like that. Alright. Well, fully juiced, we're at 2.5. So let's adjust our speed here to be 2.5. That'll at least make it as good as possible. We need 2.5. Oh, why? Why? Oh, what? Not parts per minute. It's 2.5 on this. So 375. What do we get at 200%? That's 3. We're getting closer. 175 was too much. 180. 185. No. That's too much. 2.75. So, what was 185? Oh, what was 180? Oh, we're somewhere 180, 2.5. closer. 183, 83.5, 183 point. I think we're on a third. 3. That's pretty close. That's just under. Okay. And that gives us 1.375 per minute. Throw that into our equation. 1. Sorry, I forgot that number already. 1.375 per minute. 375. So we're okay. So 138. So just over 2 hours. That's a bit better, and we're already less than that. We're now 187, 136 minutes, which is 2 hours and 16 minutes. So we should be done close to the end of the stream. If we go over a little bit, we go over a little bit. Actually, that will be way over because we've been on for a little bit now, talking about the city plan. All right. Well, since we're here and we're close by, now I don't want to start with the warehouse, even though I should. I think we're gonna wait until we unlock phase 5 for that, so that we can kind of get all of that in. I kind of want to start with the foundation city now. Ugh, I don't know. Now I'm confused on where to start. Um, Coffee. You know what? Since we're using AI for this, let's ask AI where should we start. I have a save that is almost to phase 5. Where should I start rebuilding to the new city plan? What does AI say where we should start? This is a great question. Here, I'll read it verbatim in my AI voice. Oh, this is the best moment to rebuild. You're late enough to have all core tech, trains, nuclear unlocked or close, alts mostly secured, but early enough that your world probably isn't 100% megastructure spaghetti yet. Hasn't seen my build. So here's the correct answer. Where to start rebuilding? Start with Foundation City. Not warehouse, not nuclear, not project assembly. Start with the lowest tier production city. Why? Because every other city depends on it. I gotta change the voice. It's gonna make me. It's too sugary sweet. It's like I'll just I'll try and do my best narrator voice instead. Hang on, give me 1 second. I gotta prep my voice for this. All right, there we go. Why foundations first? Foundation City produces iron plates, iron rods, screws, and concrete. These feed Steel City, electronics, advanced materials, consumables, even nuclear indirectly. If your foundation layer is messy, everything downstream inherits the mess. Train routing gets chaotic, throughput becomes hard to scale, and if you rebuild it clean, everything downstream becomes easy. Phase 5 Rebuild Order. Optimal path. Here's the safest migration plan. Step 1. Build Foundation City from scratch. Do not tear down old factory yet. 1. Pick final biome location. 2. Build clean rod, plate, and concrete towers. 3. Connect to rail loop. 4. Feed warehouse. Then let it run. When stable, disconnect the old iron factories, give it the sync access that you need, and then slowly dismantle a legacy iron. Step 2. Rebuild Steel City. Steel is second tier dependency. Once iron is stable, do the new steel build, connect a dual rail, disconnect legacy steel. Step 3, rebuild oil, and so on and so forth, all the way through to step 6. Nuclear is our last stop. Where not to start. Not the warehouse first. It becomes a temporary mess collector. Not nuclear first. We'll fight supply instability. Not project assembly first. It only consumes, it does not stabilize infrastructure. Strategic rebuild principle. Rebuild from the bottom of the tech tree upward. Raw, tier 1, tier 2, tier 3, power, and then endgame. Like replacing the foundation of a house. When to build the rail loop. Before step 1, build the dual line main line first, even if nothing connects yet. That way, every new city plugs into permanent infrastructure. You never rebuild rail twice. Extra smart move. While old factories still run, route access into Awesome Sync. Stockpile project parts. Finish phase 5 if you want. You can rebuild while your old world carries you. Final answer, start with foundation city, then steel, then oil, then electronics, then advanced, then nuclear. Infrastructure first, complexity last. If you want, tell me what your biome current base is and where your oil is and where your uranium is, and I'll tell you exactly where to place Foundation City for minimum rebuild pain. Oh, oh. Do we want less pain or do we want to take on the pain? I think it's going to tell us. Let's see. I'm going to answer first, so I'm out of narrator voice now. Now we'll take a sip of coffee as we change personas. Oh, that's great. Okay, and we're back. Um, I'm gonna go ahead and answer this first. I think it's going to say Rocky Desert here because our existing factory is for these parts is already here, and I believe I'm doing that here. Oh no no no! Hilltop is where I'm building that stuff out right now. Oh, let's shoot over there real quick to Hilltop and see. I do believe that, oh, this is a big gun. This is going to send us into orbit. Yeah, I think we're right there. Yeah, I think this factory right here is the one doing that. Wow, that really sent us way up high. I could see the whole world from up here. Good lord. Man, if I had a parachute, I could glide anywhere. Do I have a parachute? I do have a parachute. Hmm. Hello, monkey. Thank you. Hmm. Okay. Yeah, this is where I'm doing rods at right now. I think we're just gonna parachute back over there. That's where we're doing electronics and stuff right now. That's our quartz fix there. We've got a single rail line going around. That's gonna be our dual line eventually. Uh, Looks like we're mainline there and coming through, and we'll probably keep this as our main line. We may reroute this around this way though, instead of going through the lake area. Yeah, I think so. Well, at this height, it's going to take forever to get down. Alright. If I want to get back, I think our best bet is to use this guy. Oh, we are not moving that fast to do that. Now let's go back to parachute, and we'll see how far along we can get back to where we were. Now, we may not get much done today, and today may maybe just be a planning day, as we're building out these last phase 4 parts. And why am I not seeing any more assembly directors being delivered? I'm only at we're still at 313, and it's been a few minutes. We should have been much further than that. We gotta check on that. Something's not right. Unless by the time we get back, we see that that's up to 314. 3 hours later. Once we get back onto the power grid, we can switch to hover and get over there a little bit faster, which we're close to. Have a little coffee as we float. Ah, yeah. Rebuilds are a big deal, and having a big plan like the city plan is it's a lot of effort. To be honest, I'm surprised. Once I started digging into this plan, how how much it actually. I kept going and going and digging in deeper. Okay, now that we have this and we have the answer to AI's question, let's go back to AI and see what we've got here. Current base is in Rocky Desert near Meteor or Crater Lakes. Near Crater Lakes. Um, our oil is on the western beaches. And uranium is is currently drone delivered from the high node in the Rocky Desert. I don't know why it needed that information, but that's weird. So my guess is it's going to say the Rocky Desert. It may say Northern Forest though. Yeah. Okay, so perfect. That's actually a very workable late game layout already. You're just going to formalize it into cities instead of spaghetti. You're in the Rocky Desert near Crater Lakes. Oil on western beaches. Uranium high node in Rocky Desert, currently drone fed. This is actually an ideal backbone triangle. Let's lock in a clean rebuild plan around that geography. Strategic rebuild plan based on your map. Step 1 Foundation City. Location Stay in Rocky Desert near your current base. Why here? Tons of iron, plus limestone. Flat building zones. Already rail adjacent. Easy conversion. Centrally located relative to western beaches in the North Plateau. What to do? Build foundations city, build foundation city slightly away from current base. Do not tear down the old base yet. Route new rail main line through this region. Convert Rocky Desert into your permanent Tier 1 production zone. This becomes your industrial bedrock. Step 2. Build the dual mainline spine. Before touching anything else, create a dual track rail that runs Rocky Desert to Western Beaches, North Rocky Desert Plateau, and back. North Rocky Desert Plateau? What is that? Oh, is that North? What? Where is the North? We might have to ask it where it thinks the North Rocky Desert Plateau is. Northern Rocky Desert Plateau. I think I know what it's talking about there. That's going to be that's going to if I fly over here just a little bit, we can see it. That is going to be that plateau over there. So it wants us to run our main line from our rocky desert, which I'm thinking we run it north of these rocks here, out this way. Which means I'm gonna build the foundation city out here in this flat. Oh, come on. Got a bit of a power issue going on here. So see where that rail's kind of coming through the north side? That actually goes out, and you can see Pittsburgh Station out there, where I'm currently running steel. I'm thinking of running the main line through here. So if we're coming down from the plateau, this route here makes the most sense. We could, oh, but we already have that. We could just dual rail that, and I think I'm already running up that side and around that shore. It's not a great main line though. I would think of that more of a spur. I think mainline would come through here, maybe across here. Does that make sense? I like this bird's eye view. This is kind of nice. Let's go up to where the radar tower is. We'll get a better view. I already know how to run the main line past the Western Isles. Or the Western, what is it? Western Beaches. I've done that many times, and I already have a line out there that we just need to improve. So we'll do some rail improvement in areas where we're going to overlap. But I kind of want to get this idea because that's gonna determine how we lay our city out. So for a main line, right, we want something that we can just spur off of where needed. And oh, I do like this plateau though. This is actually a pretty decent plateau. And if we mainline through here, because we already have our rail coming up the incline and coming this way, we could just extend it out this way. But how do we get back down? Or do we? We could come back down here and then uh, have it follow the edge. Oh, that's not bad. We could, yeah, we could have it come through here, follow this edge down, because that's the western beach over there. Where does it say? Rocky Desert to the western beaches, to the North Rocky Plateau and back. Well, Back is easy enough because the back is just a looping back. We're gonna have a dual line. So I don't think that it would make sense to have like a triangular main line. That doesn't make sense. Our main line is going to be one line that goes around the entire map, I believe. Um, okay. Well, that's step two. So that means that we'll build our city in this area here. We just have to be careful of our existing structure. So we may elevate a little bit. I'm almost thinking. What am I thinking here? What am I thinking? I've already kind of got to start up here, but this is going to be our steel area based on where we put our cities. This is a big open area down here. We just have to, we might just have to think about our districts a little bit. We don't need any input trains. Oh, yes, our input train for this one's going to be our resource node trains. And really, the only thing we need for Foundation City, let's go back to what we're producing in Foundation City. And this is going to be one of the first, what I really need to know is, so each city has an intake zone, a smelting zone, a manufacturing block, and an export zone, and a power zone if we're doing local power generation. Um, So in the we're doing a vertical city design. So like the first floor is going to be like our logistics for handling the input. Our second floor will be like our constructors and assemblers. Third floor would be assemblers and manufacturers, and then the roof would be like our power and drones, any other aesthetics, and also our output management as well. Um, ba, ba, ba. I think our storage shifted out of a central. One product per factory. So each one of our, I mean, that might be where we want to start is like, okay, what's our input going to be, and get kind of that started. Um, I did have it break down like the parts into what it was calling tiered parts. So tier zero is like our raw resources. So of our ores like limestone, coal, sulfur, anything that is like direct access out of the world. Once it's like extruded or mined. Um, then tier one is like our basic stuff. So iron ingot, all of our ingots, our concrete, basically the first step of processing type things. So plastic, rubber, quartz crystal, silica, all that kind of stuff. And then we have our basic parts, which then use those ingots, and those are like 1.5 to 2. Um, so iron plate, rod screws, wires, cable, copper sheet, steel beam, steel pipe, all of those are use like the raw ingots to make things. Then our tier two is kind of assembling these things into our next tier of parts, which is reinforced plates, um, rotors, modular frames, encased industrial beam, stators, motors, that kind of thing. And then we get into the advanced manufacturing stuff in tier three, which is where we're doing heavy modular frames, computers, circuit boards, AI limiters, quick wire, high speed connectors, crystal oscillators. Tier 4 is our industrial expansion, where we start doing aluminum all the aluminum stuff, our radio control units, heat sinks, turbo motors, and batteries. Tier 5 is our late game stuff. Fuse modular frames, supercomputers, cooling systems, adaptive control units, magnetic field generators, thermal propulsion rockets. Tier 6 is our nuclear and exotic stuff, all of our fuel rods and uranium and plutonium stuff. And then Tier 7 is our assembly stuff, which actually was mentioned in Tier 5 because magnetic field generator and thermal propulsion rocket and adaptive control units, those are all project assembly parts. Those aren't actually, um, those should be project assembly parts. Are they listed in here? They're also listed in this list, but that's going to be all of this complete phase part stuff. Um, so those are the tiers that it's kind of laying out. And that's the project assembly city that we will do last, most likely. So this is what it's saying crosses city boundaries. So the tier 1.5 to tier 3 parts will cross city boundaries or borders, and then raw resources and simple melted smelting output. So our tier 0 and tier 1 raw materials and ingots, that kind of stuff would stay local. And then any of the final space elevator parts will stay in the project assembly city. So because ores are too bulky to send around, and final parts are too specialized. Mid, mid the mid-tier parts are stable, reusable everywhere, and predictable in demand, and they're easier to buffer. Um, so universal inputs for vertical factories are iron plates, iron rods, wire cable, copper sheet, steel beam, steel pipe. And that's our tier 1.5 high volume basics. We have a tier 2 structural ones that we need in a lot of places: rips, rotors, modular frames, stators, motors, encased industrial beams, and then advanced ones that we have to pass around. Um, it missed radio control units as something that needs to be passed around, but that might be project assembly only. I have to think about that. Turbo motors. Yeah, because RCUs feed turbo motors. I think turbo motors are only used in project assembly. It's not something we build with. I don't. Well, maybe we do. Some of the higher end machines, if we look at particle accelerator takes turbo motors and supercomputers. Those are high ends. Blenders aren't that bad. So my ideal is that we would have a dimensional depot for any of the machines that we're going to build, right? So any of these things should come out of a dimensional depot. Um, the the miners have to be handcrafted, but we can. They're a very fast build, but a lot of these like um, the Mark III miner is always a tough one because it's supercomputers, fuse modular frames, and turbo motors. So those are an expensive build, and having a dimensional depot loaded up with those makes for really high-end extraction points. One of the things that we don't have in a dimensional depot right now is motors, and that's a pain. Uh, there's RCUs for our pressurized well. Um, piece, so we do need RCUs as well. I went through and I listed out everything that we would want to build and what our build materials would be, and I think it was 38 parts. So 38 dimensional depots needed to load up our parts. Obviously, our basic build materials are the ones that we want to get in there first, so that we can continue to build. You can see I've already got um, some in there. Uh, is some of these things that we don't use, like a priority power switch, we don't use that much. So high-speed connectors is, but we in Mark III power poles, I almost never use because I just manage my power a little bit better. Like honestly, I can manage all my power using Mark One bits and bits and bobs. Um, the electrical towers, that's fine. Here, we're going to be doing Mark 6 here soon. Right now, we're pushing aluminum in so we can do our Mark 5s easily. But when we get to Mark 6, we'll be pushing in our what is it? Our trigons and time crystals um, for making our Mark 6 conveyor pieces. Here, these are all our basic materials we're going to have anyways. So rods, plates, and concrete are must-haves in our depots. So we're going to want to make sure we have those on hand in full. Those are a priority. Copper sheeting is another one. All of our piping uses copper sheeting and plastic for the high-end stuff. Routers for pumps. Routers are used in other things as well. Our heavy modular frames for the Mark II pumps, rubber for valves. This stuff is all basic. This is um, priority merger. We are going to need some priority mergers. We might be able to imagine. We're definitely need modular frames and rips as part of our thing. If we need crystal oscillators for something else, possibly, that's not a high priority one. Some of our design elements, most of these are basic items. The quartz crystal is one. I think we're already pushing those up. No, we're not full on those, so those were manually pushed. This is a big one here. We want to have these things in our depots so that we can create more depots. Um, we're not currently doing that. That's actually on our, one of the things that we needed to do. There's more crystal oscillators if we want to put up radio towers, but that's a limited amount of builds that we're going to do on that as well. Vehicles we don't really need to build very much. The drone ports we do. So those are high-speed connectors and RCUs, and then the other ones that we build lots of are trains, freight cars, and stations. So any of these things are must-haves in our build materials. So those are very important. We I have we do this occasion, but once we have this set up, it's not. These are all basic materials we should have from other places, anyways. These we don't use at all. Those are useless. Foundations, these are basic materials we already have, um, and we need lots of, so those are going to be ones that we continually feed. Same thing with walls and architecture pieces, but all these are basic materials that we would have from the other ones. Specials, we want to be able to do awesome sinks everywhere. I think that's, and these are really basic materials that we're already going to have. So really, we're just looking at, rips and cable here, which we should already have for other machines. So that's kind of like the plan. So you can see we don't need a ton of stuff in order to be able to build everything. It's just kind of getting that out there. I do agree with, oh, we made one. That's really bad. We got to go see what's going on here. We ran out of something. We I think that was a half an hour trip since we had our last AI question. Because we really need to get to phase 5, because I don't want to have to rebuild a lot of belts in order to get things rocking. Not that it's a huge deal to upgrade belts, it's really super easy, but alright. We're out of computers again. Oh, of course we are. Why wouldn't we be? Gosh dang it, I thought we had this fixed. This was what we spent the majority of the last episode trying to get fixed. Man, sorry, I'm not paying attention to chat if you're chatting. Nobody's chatting today. You know, a bunch of quiet folks out there today. Maybe you need some coffee too. Delicious. All right. What are we missing here? Where are we breaking down? Or are we clicking along just we're using them all up faster than we're making them? No. We got an empty belt. Well, no, you're cranking along. And you're not. Why why is this one? Oh, that one's fully clocked. Is this one fully clocked? No. I see. We just ran out of circuit boards again. Where is circuit boards coming in from? Over here. Oh, here come more circuit boards right now. Speak of the devil. Ta-da! Circuit boards. Look at all those circuit boards come in. Ugh. We might need to increase our circuit board production to keep up with demand. But this is clocking out. So. Well, okay. So we're just outpacing ourselves on our computer demand. Joy, bliss, happy day. Alrighty then. Well, that's unfortunate. That means it's going to take us much longer to deliver those. It's going to be a little bit before we go to phase 5, so we're going to start our rebuild then from with tier 5 parts. Or not tier 5 parts, sorry. Phase 4 parts. And what we have available as part of phase 4. I do think we are going to need to make sure we have certain depots available for these larger builds. So let's verify that we are pushing our core parts. Yeah. I'm going to grab this cannon to shoot us over to Hilltop instead of the other one, because the other one was way too high. It's like a super cannon to go anywhere in the world. And putting the parachute out just made it really, 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 really slow. Should have just used a jetpack to get to where we wanted to be and then drop down. There's all of that is our toxic waste from the nuclear plant. That's going to be fun to deal with. I think what we're gonna do is we're gonna probably train that over to, we may start with like plutonium processing and just start pulling out of that when we do our nuclear plants. So maybe work backwards for what we need. Okay, let's swap to our regular jetpack and hit the run. And we want to go over there. Charge. Skittles whistling the charge. That's it, right there. Charge. Oh no, that's a tree. Ah! Oh, we hit a tree. Wow, that almost killed us too. Yikes. Gotta be careful about that. Alright. What was I coming out here for? Oh yeah, I want to depot some basic parts. Oops. Wrong jetpack. Forgot to switch. So you see how I surfed that conveyor belt? That's what I want to do in our cities. Okay, plots. Plots. We're gonna use the plots in the roads. Uh, plates and rods. Thank you very much. And what we can do is we can just let's extend this out a little bit. Zoop me, please. And we'll put a. Now let's make sure, because I have some. I already have iron. Oh, I already have those in there. Gosh darn it. Okay, those are already being fed from somewhere else. Oh, I'm feeding those from the warehouse, I think. I. That was dumb. I should have looked at what I had already. Anything that's full, I probably already have. Anything that's not full, I don't have, obviously. So like cable. Cable's an important one to have. We should be pushing cable. Let's see where are we tapped into this copper node over here? We will do just like a quick if we're not what do we are are we just doing copper sheeting here? What are we doing here? What? Why is that full of limestone? That's weird. This was never a limestone node. It's always been a copper node. What the heck? That's just bizarre. Okay, that's a weird 1.0 thing. That's so weird. These have always been copper. I don't know why it switched over to limestone. That's nuts. It's just nuts. Let's see. I do not want to do that way. Okay, there we go. That's all of it out of there. Now we are feeding copper. Let us take out these 3 belts because we're never going to get the last piece out of the machines. And then let's go ahead and replace this belt as well. And then we'll take this last chunk here off. Boom. Okay, now we're all copper ore. And we'll feed this bad boy like so. Alright. Why are we not running? What's wrong? What's going on? Why didn't that start running? We've got power. We've got a recipe. What the hell, man? Copper ore. Copper ore. Copper ingot. What if I throw these ingots in here? No, we're still not getting anything. Take that out again. What the heck? So weird. I have no idea why that didn't work. Alright. Well, there we go. We're running again on this one. Let's speed this up. This is way too slow. Okay. Alright, and this one's going fine. We've got iron ingots that we're sending in and out. What are we doing with these iron ingots and why are they going way over here? That's weird. Am I shipping these out as ingots? That's just wrong. This was a former idea. I'm warehousing all these ingots somewhere else. That's limestone, that's producing concrete. I think I've got them coming down to the station here. It's sending those to a warehouse in the green fields, grass fields. Yep. So that's 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 a wee bit nuts. Okay. Well. Okay. That's something. That is something. Do I have a cannon over here? Yeah. Okay. I did try and set up some cannons between these factories so that we're not waiting on me to fly around everywhere uh, between spots, and I tried to centrally locate them in factory areas. Speaking of which, did I end up putting depots for steel? Do I have my steel pipe? Do I have steel beam? I think I do. Or no, I don't. While we're over here, let's do our steel beam. Because that's a major that we need. I don't know where I did steel pipe at. And I'm going to head, and I'm going to put it off of this instead. That's encased. That's a regular steel beam. See, our production rate's kind of slow for this. Oh, I already have a splitter here. That's excellent. Center output, right output. I'm going to put any... we don't have a mixed output. I split this. It used to be mixed, but actually I think I'm going to use center. It's any. And let's go with this. And I can't because I don't have my fluctuator parts. And I need a new cannon to go south. And I'm not sure I have everything I need for the cannon. I did bring in a bunch of my blueprints from other saves. I can. Good. Good, good, good. Just go ahead and... So what I did is I laid this out north, south, east, west, and I could put a cannon in every direction that'll kind of get me a short jump. These are not long distance cannons. These are fairly short distance cannons. If we double them up, and I should make a long distance cannon. Like obviously that one that I have over our base there that sent us into orbit, long distance cannon, right? I have found that two of these like back to back like that. I wonder, and I wonder if I can auto connect these. That would be cool. Nah, it doesn't look like it. Um, but in what I should do is I should blueprint an extension that I can put in front of another one to make a double, and that would be big enough to get across the entire map. All right, we need to power this like that. I like this little design that I made for this. I think it's cute. I haven't named the locations yet for these, but okay. All right. There is our sand factory one. Okay, perfect. See, nice little short hop. Doesn't send us across the map. It just gets us to where we need to go. And I actually didn't even need to switch packs on that. So that's nice. I like that. That worked out good. And this, I don't have ton of these. These are the parts we need delivered here that we never delivered to make this non-stop. I think that is enough for a depot, though. So now we put another one back. We should be able to fly ourselves back. Yep, that's a happy birdie over there. I don't know if you can hear him whistling, but he is all excited over there. That is the song he whistles to me. That's the Bridge over the River Kwai. That is my whistle. Because I have found that he's got certain whistles that he associates with different people. It's kind of like their ID. It was pretty interesting. Took me a while to figure out that's what he was doing. Oh, we're much higher, so this is going to be fun. I forgot that we're at elevation on that plateau. That's good to know. But look at that. I mean, that was quick to get over here, right? I think it was quick. Look at that. That's a beautiful thing. I really like it. Now that I'm getting used to using it, I like it took me forever. I I was probably at 900 hours of gameplay before I finally was like, you know what? I'm gonna figure out these hypertube cannons and figure out how to use them. And because my son was like, Dad, you need to you need to use hypertube cannons to get around. This is you taking wasting so much time. And I'm like, yeah, whatever. And then I started using them. Now I'm like in love with them. I'm like, yep, I was an idiot. All right, so that should start pushing beams at a regular pace into our depot, right? That'll be nice because when we're building rails, we're going to need those. And let's make sure that is going up. This is going up. This is going up. Okay, good. All of those are being fed. That's what we want. And with 13, we should probably upgrade. We're gonna need to find some more of those too, um, for what we need. I think I'll probably do that offline, as it's gonna take a while to finish these Phase 4 ones. I'll probably do all of that offline, um, so that we can get into Phase 5 and have the parts that we want for building things out. Oh, should have taken my hypertube cannon. Sorry, old habit. Habit of talking and flying and drinking coffee. I spend a majority of my time traveling between spots when I'm playing this game. Probably more time than I should. That's where, having a good hypertube network saves you a lot of time. So I highly recommend it. Yeah, because I should have got myself over there. All right, let's change. We've done our city planning, and we know our order. So let's get this situated. We need to do foundation city, right? And then in here, let's figure out the parts that we're building. Um, so we are building. Yeah, this is a good plan. I'm liking this idea. And this is what I was looking for Foundation City. Oh, private notes. Oh, did I write this down? I think I wrote this down somewhere. What our standard input parts are. So, because I found the list again. Oh, here's my city list too. City list. I need this in front of me. So some of the stuff I already did write down. I've got the tier structure written down. I have uh that's a tools list. That is not my SIP. That's not SIP either. Where did my SIP note go? Oh no. Oh no. I don't want to lose that one. That's one of the most important lists. I'm gonna rewrite that one if I can't find it. Yeah. All right. So our SIP. Wait, hang on. That is not the SIP. This is just before it set it up. It ended up setting up a standard input parts palette. Factory design using the SIP. Example, heavy modular factory would be allowing inputs of modular frames, blah, blah, blah. Let's just explore layer map. Perfect standard car allocation. Backbone trains, standard lengths. Core SIP backbone is 8 cars. We have iron plate, iron rod, wire cable, copper sheet, steel pipe, steel beam, and concrete on the backbone trains. This is another. The structural backbone trains will have our tier 2 parts, reinforced plates, rotors, modular frames, stators, and case industrial beam and motor. So when we're delivering things, we'll have different train stations that will have these different tiered things. Like we have an electronics train that's 6 cars. Specialized materials would be our oil derived ones, that will be 3. Our aluminum ones, which would be 4. Um, I'm not sure about that. That might only need to be 2. Um, that's so maybe that SIP was that other list. There's so many notes that I got from AI that a lot of this is it's hard to keep track of. And that's where I need to organize some of these notes. Oh, explicitly banned from the palette. Okay, yeah. Here, this is the palette. Okay, so the palette is in three tiers. There's the structural basics, which is our 1.5, and that will be iron plate, rods, wires, cables, copper sheet, steel beams, steel pipe, and concrete. That's our core um, structure input palette. And then our tier 2 one is our mechanical backbone, which I just read out, which includes the rips and motors and stuff like that. Then our advanced palette has our electronics and precision stuff, circuit boards, computers, AI limiters, high-speed connectors, crystal oscillators, quick wire. And then we have our specialized one, uh, which would be basic rubber, aluminum, and it has in here batteries, but I think we're going to eliminate batteries out of our flow because they're not widely used. They're only really used as drone and vehicle power right now, and that's been replaced with fuel, so we don't need that. Okay, that being said, we need to get back to what we need to build in our foundation city. So I'm gonna offline. I will um, try and get some of these notes organized better so that I'm not digging around for all this information. I wish I would have thought about this ahead of time. Um, this is hard to navigate the way I have it right now. Let me see if I can't search for it instead. And I want Foundation City Foundations City. There we go. Outputs is going to be, whoops, oops, 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 oops. So our outputs are going to be concrete and iron plates. and iron rods, screws, and rips. Reinforced plates. Reinforced iron plates is the full name. Rips. Okay, that's all we need to do with this one. So this is all iron based. There's in limestone, which is perfect for this area. And there's our 2 hour mark. We're going to do a little bit more. We're just going to kind of set some of our foundational bits for this, and then tomorrow we'll start building out Foundation City. Alright, so we have that in place. I don't need AI now, so I can watch my chat. No chatters today. Okay, that's fine. It's fine. No love on Valentine's Day. I get it. Um. Alright. Foundation City is going to be out here. And if we look at our nodes, let's start with our nodes that we're going to use for local resources first. Currently we have mining going on over there for limestone. The limestone node, actually where the ramp is there. The limestone node is right. Did we just build over top of it? Are we not using it? I thought it was right down here. That's the iron, and around the corner is the limestone. Where? Yeah, maybe we did build right over top of it. Are you down here? We built so much around here, I can't... kind of lost my bearings on where this node is. I thought it was before the ramp. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe it's over... Oh, wait. No, that's coming in. Oh, there it is, right? Oh, yeah. Right here. Okay, so we're doing some limestone mining here, and this is being sent out somewhere. So that's a possibility as a limestone node for concrete. But limestone is pretty plentiful, even out here in the desert. I do believe we have some other ones that are untapped. Let's check our map because I do have this area radared. So let's pop open our resources on the map. Resources. Let's go ahead and pop those on. Like there's one here that we're not using. Actually, we don't have as many nodes out here as I thought. There are some nodes over here that are just out of radar range. There's 3 of them right here. Those are kind of far away. We can pull from any of these up here though. Up here on the plateau we have a bit more. We are using 2 here right now. We could tap in off of those. I think this one actually... Let's take a look at that one. Now, this one we might be able to use. I think this is probably a maxed out one anyways, and that is just like a little station. A little concrete station. I think it's that one out there. Come on. Jeez, oh Pete. Get some power. Where are we sending this concrete? We are sending it all the way in here right now, and I don't think we're using much of it. What are we using it for? We're making concrete here. And sending it into here for, what, encased uranium? Oh, okay, yeah, sure. Alright. Yeah, we can definitely steal off of that because we're going to be moving our nuclear plant facility anyways. So this would make a good spot to um, have a push-pull rail out of here as a resource node. And so that means we're going to need 2 stations and a freight platform in order to do this. So that's going to be a 6x5 platform. And we want, since we want our city to be over in the flat over there, we want to point the station in that direction. And I do want it snapped to world grid. That being said, let's set our first one. And I'm going to lock that in and I'm going to check the height because I don't want it clipping the terrain. Actually, I think we were pretty good there. Oh, we did a good job on the first grab. Nice. Alright. So we can unlock that, lock that back in, and we'll go out 5 because we're going to go that way, and then 5 the other way. So 5 this way with each of those. And that will be our 1 car for the resource with a push-pull. And this will be our... Because the only thing that we're going to have for this city is raw resource inputs. Because this is going to be only iron and limestone inputs. And it's all going to be locally sourced. So when we start tearing down some of these other factories, we'll just push additional resources in to our city. Let's clear some landscape here. Oh, do I not have clusters? No. Fine. That's an upgrade we need to do. Oh, I got them. I got them all. Okay. I see you. It was a good explosion. Excellent. Alright. Not bad. I'll take that. Our platform's clear. Oop, almost. One more. Zoop. Boom. And boom goes the dynamite. Alright, stations. And this is where we're going to find out where we need more, yeah, plastic. Okay, we need another jump from here. Ugh, it'll be nice to have that city built out so that I can fly back and forth without losing power. Hypertube over there. See if we've got enough materials to build another cannon. Nope. Out of rotors. Ah, poop. I don't. Yeah, I don't have one to go over there. Shoot. Alright. Well, we're going slow. Slow mode. Oh, you know what? Before I do that, do I have enough to build another one of these? No, I don't. I'm glad I looked, because I don't have modular frames either. And those are being built right over here somewhere. I think This is the frame station. This is frame rate station. But where are my frames at? Not good. Heavy modular frames. I'm not. Where are my modular frames coming from? And why don't I have any? They're coming in from over here. But I don't have any. No, those are fused module frames. Those are outbound. What are these? Heavies. There's my modular frames. We're going to go ahead and grab a few stacks of that, and we're going to push some into our dimensional depot. How many stacks can we do? It looks like one right now. So one will go in and one will stay with us. And dimensional depot, now we have what we need. And I am going to, another thing I'm going to do offline, let me make my offline notes while I am here. So for our private notes, I want to, we want to finish phase 4. Finish phase 4. Well, that's already up, and the get to phase 5 is already up there. I need to find Mercer spheres. And I need to upgrade depots. Need to consolidate AI notes and or summarize. Summarize is probably better. Summarize AI notes. Summarize AI plans. Then we need, what was the other thing I needed to do? Oh, hyper cannon blueprints. And network. Okay. I think that should do it for my notes. I'll do those things off screen so that we will be more prepped for tomorrow. I probably, I don't know if I'll get through all of that before tomorrow, but I will try. Just saying. Um, that way, you know, hopefully we can do more building, less flying around, and trying to fix infrastructure. But these are the kinds of things that happen. I mean, you got to do what you got to do. And part of that is recognizing that I don't have any plastic. What the hell? I got nothing. What is going on? I should have. Well, that's coal coke. That's not what I need. What are we doing here? Let's see. I should have plastic being created over here. This is our factory for plastic and rubber. Are we just not making enough? Are we not making any? What is the deal? Really? Oh, this is the 50 per minute. Is that the right recipe? Residual. That's 2 plastic. 2 plastic out of that. 6 seconds. That's the same rate. We're not in. Are we just not producing enough of this, or is it just too slow belting it over? What are we doing? Okay, the layout of this is kind of funky. I'm doing plastic in multiple ways. Here I'm burning off fuel. This is poorly set up. This is all going to get rebuilt because this is all not the way I want it. And I have lots and lots of oil being done here that I'm not. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. And I have this giant thing of oil here that I think this ends up producing. It produces a lot of oil, especially when you crank it with that. I mean, we have enough fuel to end game our. Ooh, hold on. We got to take care of him. He is not welcome here. And we're gonna take him out old school. Beat down. We're getting. Ooh, man, that was a beat down for us. Ha, you're trapped. Wow, you're really trapped in there. Haha. That's why you don't spawn in factories. But munch. Alright, he will not respawn. That was a version 1 respawn. Oh, we've got plenty of fabric. Okay, well that's excellent to know, I guess. I think what we're gonna do to keep. Oh man, this is awful, but we're just gonna steal out of the station to fill this as a priority. Okay, just because it's laid out so funky, and I do not have a hyper tube here anywhere, do I? And that's my fuel warehouse, my fluid warehouse there. And then down there is where I've got a bunch of ingot storage and stuff that's going to get dismantled when we start building out there as well. Oh, I do have a switch on there. That's cool. Do I have batteries out here that I'm charging? Probably not. It's kind of pointless. I don't know. It doesn't make any sense. There's a lot of things I did here in this save that I don't know if they make any sense. Yeah, it is what it is. I'm not gonna make the train. And he's not gonna stop for me either. You're a sweetheart. Alright, so now I should be able to make train stations, which was the whole point of that diversion. Yes, okay. That's what we really needed. Let's make sure we can make freight stations too while we're at it. Oh, I should have hopped that train. Barely. We don't have a lot of motors. We need to get motors. Let's hop this train. We'll take the train back over while I drink some coffee. I do think I might have to call this episode on needs work. That list of private things I need to do off screen is going to help us facilitate the new build. And I think that stuff needs to be done first. And it's going to be a lot of flying around, searching, upgrading, and getting some of our personal infrastructure set so that we can do all of these builds. Are you going to go yet? Thank you. And part of it is, having that hypertube cannon network is going to make it so that we don't have to spend so much time slow traveling around the map. Because even though trains are one of the fastest ways to get around the map, because of the way my train network is laid out and the number of stops, I don't really get where I need to go. Because we don't have a mainline system that is kind of taking me from A to B the way I need to be moved from A to B, which is unfortunate. And that's part of the things that we want to fix, right? We want to fix our infrastructure so that we can move around well between factories, and we want to have a network that is moving parts well and makes sense and it's extendable. And that's the big thing is extendability. How can we produce the most um, without uh, breaking our power grid? Let's go ahead and switch that to freight there and then back to station, and that has to point the other way. And we don't have enough plastic yet. We're pushing plastic, but it's slow. And this is one of the reasons I need to upgrade, because and we don't have enough wire either. That's got to get pushed too. We need to upgrade to multiple stacks and increase uh, the upload speed. And I think I'm at the 7 Mercer Sphere um, upgrade level, so I might be able to update one of those now. Up Update speed would be probably better because I think I'm producing enough of this stuff in those depots to keep that in, and we're not doing super fast builds at the moment. We kind of are. We kind of will be for foundations and walls. So like concrete and iron plate are going to be an issue. But if we increase the speed, we might be able to keep up. We'll do this one increase, and I think we're going to call the episode here. Because it's going to be too painful to try and get through some of the stuff. Alien technology, and yeah. Oh, we're at the 3 level. I have enough in here, but again I don't have the fluctuators, so um, I've got to go back and forth to the fluctuators in order to um, get enough for that. Which means I do have a hypertube set up to get up there. Yep. So while I'm traveling in the tube, I am going to say thank you um, to my listeners. Happy Valentine's Day. We reached 100% today, which was awesome. This is the first game in a long time that I've played that I've actually hit 100% on, which means we've completed all of the achievements and done all of the story content as well. Um, I mean, I guess the true 100% would be also buying everything in the Awesome Sync, which we haven't done. Um, we might be able to do that in the other save though. That might be my next thing, is to get a true 100%. I should have everything purchased from the Awesome Shop as well. So I might do that on my own. But that's not really something that's that entertaining to stream. Um, See, this one has two. This is kind of my hub spot because I have to keep coming back for these things. Um, oh, well, that was unfortunate. Yeah, see, I don't have enough. I don't have enough wire again. Which means I have to steal from my depot to get the wire. And then I have to use the wire to do this. Yeah. So, I do want to thank you for watching and doing the stuff that you do on your end, all your clicky things, your subscribes, your likes, your uh, whatever it is you do. Thank you for those. I'm Senior Honcho. Until our next morning coffee, keep building and stay efficient.